Hello and welcome. My name is Amy Yonda, and I'll be the moderator for this webinar this morning. You can't see me, but you will hear me off and on. Today's webinar is focused on the importance of sleep and is the first of 4 webinars that we'll be offering as part of the Tackling the Pillars of Health COVID-19 webinar series. This series is supported by a grant from Healthy Together Now, a community-led, regionally coordinated, and government-supported grassroots program to help prevent chronic disease in Manitoba. Thank you, Healthy Together Now. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our presenter. Kamara Tayo-Jones holds a Master of Social Work degree and a Bachelor of Arts and Science degree in psychology. She is a registered social worker with the Manitoba College of Social Workers and has worked in health and social services for over 22 years. Kamara has been an instructor for the University of Manitoba and provided mental health services in regional health programs. In her current role, she supports clients to manage chronic disease, promote healthy behavior change, and improve healthy living. We will have time at the end of the presentation to answer any questions you might have, so please make sure to submit them in the questions section or the chat box section on your screen. I will be monitoring both. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your attention and for hanging on as we go through these technical difficulties. And so, thank you for the introduction, Amy. That was wonderful. Today, we're going to be talking about sleep. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome to type them in the chat, and I will get to them as we go through. And I will get to them as we go through. And otherwise, you can hold your questions for the end. Okay, we're just organizing everything back the way it was. There we go. And so in this session, we're going to be learning about the connection between sleep and health, what normal sleep looks like, and then sleep hygiene. There's different ways that you can talk about sleep, and you might hear sleep etiquette, sleep hygiene, or just good sleeping tips. And today we're going to focus on sleep hygiene. So when we talk about sleep, we have to see the connection between health and sleep. Ever notice how sluggish you feel when you don't get enough sleep? And that's usually because your body has to flush out toxins and form new neural pathways. And all of these things happen to help keep us sharp and in tune. And when sleep is disrupted, that can certainly affect us. Sorry. So think about how refreshed you feel after a good night's rest. Sleep serves a protective role, and so we need to give our body and brain chance to repair and restore itself. Proteins and hormones are released to help our body recover from the day, and growing and healing happens when we sleep. What happens when we don't get enough sleep? A chronic lack of sleep is associated with increased risk of several health conditions. So oftentimes when we wake up after a poor night's rest, we can see that there's some lack of focus. Sometimes we are more reactive to stress and we find we're overreacting more than usual. Sometimes we're just not able to think as clearly as we're used to. And that can be a change in the way that we think. Our cognition has changed because our body and brain hasn't had enough rest and recovery for that night. Sleep helps us to process information and be more flexible in our thinking, which helps with problem solving. It can help us make good decisions. When we control our thinking, we are more likely to respond instead of reacting to situations. So this also helps us to achieve our goal by resisting temptation and controlling our emotions and behavior. We are more likely to make decisions based on immediate gains, like eating high-fat or high-sugar foods, right? Think about that marshmallow test that we heard about a while ago, where children had an opportunity to choose one marshmallow right now, and if they waited, they could get 2 marshmallows in a little while. And what we know is that those children who chose that one marshmallow got the instant gratification, but the long-term gains of those who were able to hold on and wait for the 2 marshmallows, those children over time showed that they had the ability to be more resilient, to be able to focus more on life and to be more successful in life. So when we think about those immediate gains, having a change in our sleep will change our ability to be able to think clearly and make those decisions, such as, do I wait now or do I go for it? Being awake for more hours means more opportunity to eat as well, as our body doesn't rest and we need energy to stay awake. So what does normal sleep look like? The average person needs between 7 and 9 hours of sleep. This is the average adult, but this is just a guideline. Everyone is different. Sleep needs vary based on age, health, activity level, genetics, and our individual circadian rhythm. It's normal to get less than your optimal amount of sleep sometimes, and to feel tired during the day sometimes. It is chronically inadequate sleep that can put you at risk, and that can be as little as a few days of poor sleep. So once in a while, if you have a bad night, if you had some disrupted sleep, that's okay. But if you're having several days in a row of poor sleep, that's where you're going to see some changes in your ability to function during the day, in the way that you think, in the way that you feel, and the way that you behave. So ask yourself, do you constantly feel sleepy? Are you able to concentrate? Are you able to accomplish your daily tasks? Do you feel rested when you wake up? To find out more about your personal sleep needs, try an experiment. Set aside 3 days. You can do this if you're on vacation or a long weekend. Sleep for as little or as long as your body needs, and then take the average of time that you've slept over those 3 days, and that's likely the number that you need to get, the number of hours of sleep you need to get each night. So now we're going into those tips and that sleep hygiene that we talked about at the very beginning. The bedroom is for sleeping and sex. So it's a relaxing environment. So think about your bedroom and your bed and what's associated with it, right? So many of us in working from home might have a home office in our bedroom. It could just be a table, etc. And as long as we keep our work at the table, we're good. But if we're in bed reading work emails while lying in bed, then bed becomes work. So our brains form connections when one activity is repeatedly paired with another, right? So if we're working or studying or watching TV in bed, it's going to be associated with having an active mind. So the bedroom should be dark, quiet, slightly cooler, and screen-free. No screen time for 2 hours prior to bedtime is recommended. Why? We'll talk about that sometime. We'll talk about this some more in a few more slides. Establish a bedtime routine. Just like bodybuilders need to warm up before lifting weights to avoid injury, we need to wind down to be most successful in going to sleep. Give yourself at least an hour to get ready for your bedtime. Think about your routine as something fun that you look forward to. Massage, baths, showers, reading, and other calm activities to help you feel good and relaxed. Think about the sources of light in your bedroom and if you need them on while you're sleeping. Electronic gadgets emit a blue light which is stronger than other colors of light and can be very disruptive at night because it keeps us alert. Do you like to leave the screen on, a music channel or the weather station? Is the screen emitting a light while you listen to music before bed? If so, then consider using a radio or turning your small screens down on a flat surface. If you're using a TV, you can try music stations as they usually have a dark screen. Ultimately, sleep should be peaceful and quiet, and some noises may cause you to wake up too early, so consider going to bed in a quiet, dark room. Your body needs time to process the food and drinks you consume. When you eat too late at night, it can keep you awake while your body's making energy from what you've eaten. It can also interrupt your sleep. When your bladder or bowel becomes full, it will signal that you need to use the toilet, and that signal is strong enough to wake you at night. Once you're awake, the energy from the food you've eaten may cause you to stay awake much longer. Think about the things that you're eating and drinking before bed. If you find that you're waking up often to go to the bathroom, you may need to stop drinking fluids several hours before you go to sleep. And make sure that you go to the bathroom before you go to bed to avoid having to wake up in the middle of the night. So caffeine is a stimulant that increases alertness. It can be found in coffee, tea, soda, chocolate, desserts, and over-the-counter medication. Your body can take up to 10 hours to process caffeine, which means that drinking coffee too late in the day could affect your ability to fall asleep at bedtime. So avoid consuming caffeine for at least 4 hours prior to bedtime. If you have had too much caffeine, you can go for a walk, drink plenty of water, and practice relaxation to help you feel better. There are some people who will say, coffee doesn't affect me, and that might be how their body works. But for the most part, if you do have coffee, you're going to have a delayed reaction to it. You're not going to feel the full effects of coffee as soon as you drink it. It will take 45 minutes up to those 10 hours for your body to completely process it. Alcohol has been shown to cause people to wake more frequently in the night, to get less restful sleeps, and to feel anxiety in the morning. So avoid consuming alcohol for at least 3 hours prior to bedtime. And of course, always drink responsibly. Smoking is both a stimulant and a drug, meaning that it increases alertness and it causes withdrawal symptoms, which can lead to waking too early. Smoking can also lead to sleep problems like sleep apnea. Avoid smoking for at least 4 hours prior to bedtime, and if possible, reduce or eliminate smoking altogether. And if you need help to quit smoking, you can always talk to your doctor, as there are many options available. When we exercise, chemical messengers called neurotransmitters are released in our body, which help us feel better, reduce pain, and manage stress. You may have heard of them: serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins, among many. Exercise should be performed at your level of ability and for an amount of time that you can safely complete. Exercise can give us a burst of energy that we can use during the day. And for this reason, try and avoid exercising within 4 hours of bedtime to avoid being alert and unable to sleep. Alternately, there are some who feel tired after intense exercise, and they use this tiredness to calm themselves before they start their sleep routine. This may work for you, and you can add other calming activities before going to bed as well. Tune into your body and ask yourself if you're tired. If so, head to bed. If not, do some more activities for your nighttime routine. What about your wake-up time? Is your wake-up time appropriate, even on weekends? Many people use their weekends to rest and recover from the busyness of the week. If you need to rest, you can still wake up at the same time in the morning and spend more time resting and doing restorative activities like stretching, reading, art, or talking with a friend. Build consistency in your routine and in being mindful about how you're feeling. It is really up to you and your needs if you want to nap. There's some research that says napping will affect your nighttime sleep, but for the most part, if you're having a hard time sleeping or a difficult time maintaining your sleep, you're going to need a rest during the day. And that rest can be just relaxation, or it can be a nap. Do you feel irritable later in the day? Do you lose focus or hit a wall in the afternoon? Do you find yourself drifting off to bed early in the evening, well before your bedtime? Do you get less than 7 hours of sleep at night? So napping for about 20 minutes in the early to mid-afternoon can help improve your memory and concentration. It can give you a surge of energy and improve your mood. If you are living with chronic fatigue, napping can help increase your productivity in the day as you may be more active after a nap. There are a few things to remember about napping. Set an alarm to limit naps to 20 minutes. A longer nap may cause you to go into a deep sleep cycle, which is hard to come out of quickly and can affect your nighttime sleep schedule. Just like sleeping, pick a cool, quiet, and dark place to nap. If you're at work and your employer does not have a break room that you can use, try napping in your car or at your desk. Sleep masks may be helpful to block out the light. Earbuds or headphones may be helpful to provide calming sounds and block out loud noises. Nap only when you need to. If you're not tired, then there's no need to force the nap. If you do not fall asleep after what you perceive to be 20 or 30 minutes, don't watch the clock. Get out of bed. Getting out of bed does not make things worse. You don't want your bed to be associated with sleeplessness, so go to a quiet spot outside of your bedroom and do something boring. Boring activities are not usually stimulating and can create the calmness you need to fall asleep. I once heard a gentleman on a TED talk about reading the vacuum manual, and that was his go-to boring activity when he couldn't sleep. He would sit in a low light room in his home and read the vacuum manual. And so you're more than welcome to try this. If it works for you, wonderful. But there are other activities that you can find that help you to fall asleep. Resist the urge to turn on a screen because that only wakes you up and makes you more alert. So there are a few things that you can do to help get you ready for bed. Meditation can prevent. Meditation can help you focus on the present. Research has shown that meditation can reduce stress and anxiety, lower your blood pressure, and improve sleep. So many things can prevent you from falling asleep. For example, racing thoughts and thinking about all that you have to do during the next day. So consider trying meditation. Find something to focus on. You can focus on your breathing, a vision, memory, or an object in the room. If you really want to, you can focus on a chant such as Om or something meaningful to you. Absolutely, if it works for you. When thoughts get in the way, recognize them, put them aside, and return to your focus. And this can happen often in the beginning, but should get better with practice. Meditation is not something to be afraid of. You can try it in as little as 5 minutes or longer as you desire. You can do simple meditation, which would simply be picking that thing that you focus on. So if you want to focus on a vision or a memory on your favorite vacation, right? And you take those deep breaths in and you focus on that memory and you keep thinking about it. When you have an intrusive thought, just stop and think about what the thought is. Oh, I have to prepare dinner tomorrow. Well, I'll think about that later, and you get back to your vision and you continue thinking about that. Guided meditation as well. You can use audio or video. So of course you can go to YouTube and find many different varieties of meditative samples. If you're into the library, you can always order a CD from the library so that you can practice it at home on your own. But really it's at the tips of your fingertips. Just look online and you should find a multitude of options for guided meditation. Some people like the sound of water. Other people complain that the sound of water makes them want to go to the bathroom. Some people like the sound of animals, birds, the rainforest, and other people find that annoying. So it really is up to you to find what you need to help you meditate. There are other ways to help you relax. Progressive relaxation is a focus on tensing and relaxing specific muscle groups while doing deep breathing. And for some people, they'll talk about a cool blue light moving through your body. So you can start at the top of your head, there's a cool blue light, and then you tense the muscles in your face when you take a deep breath in. And when you relax, you breathe that out, and that cool blue light moves down to your shoulders. And you tense up your shoulders, take a deep breath in, and then relax. When you breathe out, the cool blue light moves down to your tummy, and you keep going all the way until you reach your toes. And by the time you get to your toes, that cool blue light should be shooting out of your toes, and you should be feeling pretty relaxed. Visualization is another form of relaxation. There are different ways to do it. The way that I usually recommend is that you pick a happy place, person, moment, event, vacation spot. So today we'll talk about vacation spots. Vacationing at the beach, and close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in and out, and then wake up your sense of sight. What do you see? Do you see the sun, the sky, the shoreline, the water, the jetty, the boat? Take another deep breath in. What do you hear? Can you hear the wind rustling in the trees? Can you hear the water as it comes in with the tide? Can you hear the animals? Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe out, think about what you smell, the freshness of the air, the warmth in the air, or the crispness of the air. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe out, think about what you can taste in the air. Sometimes when we're out in the wilderness, we can taste that freshness, that's almost a sweetness in the air. And then think about what you feel. Can you feel the sunshine on your skin, the warmth, the wind? Can you feel the water? And lastly, and always last, end with that sixth sense. What is that feeling that you get when you think about all the things you just experienced in this visualization? And that feeling is usually a sense of calm, happiness, relaxation, but that can help you. Oftentimes, if you do that, you might find that you're falling asleep in the middle of that activity, or by the end of the activity, you're much calmer and able to get to bed quickly. Deep breathing is as simple as taking those deep breaths, not holding your breath, and breathing it out. And what that does is it forces your body to calm itself. It gives your body that oxygen that it needs, and it gives you that release. So you can focus on the rhythm of your breathing, which will help you quiet your mind and help your body calm down before bed. Of course, be open to speaking with your doctor about your sleep. Assess other factors that might be affecting your sleep. Your doctor might be able to help you with that. There are medications that may be appropriate to help you sleep. If you have a chronic condition where poor sleep or insomnia is one of the symptoms, there may be treatments available to help you. These strategies that we've talked about today are certainly helpful on their own, but if you feel that you need more help, your medical health professionals are usually the best place to turn to. There may be other sources of support for you, such as pain or sleep management professionals, and certainly medication, of course. So this is the time for questions. Amy, do we have any?
Yes, the one question I had is, what are the sad effects of the lack of sleep in the long run?
Are we talking about seasonal affective disorder SAD, or just
I believe
depression?
just sad in general, just like what are the effects of the lack of sleep in the long run?
Okay, so let's go back to here. These are the effects of this is what happens when you don't get enough sleep. And so your health conditions can worsen. So when we think about cognition, am I muted again?
Yeah.
Oh, did you mute me? Oh,
I don't know.
That was odd. Okay, so these are the health effects associated with poor sleep or chronic lack of sleep. And so you can think of it as cognitive changes, such as the forgetfulness, poor memory, difficulty with focus and concentration, difficulty with word finding, you find yourself stuttering more. And then there's the emotional side of it too, where you're just less reactive in the way that you're accustomed to. You might find yourself more short-tempered. You might find yourself more irrational in the way that you think and feel and behave when your sleep has been shortened. What we know for sure is with the reactiveness, People who operate heavy machinery, such as trucks, driving vehicles, or working in a factory where they're operating the moving parts, they have a higher risk of, um, of workplace injury and difficulty and accidents at work or in their vehicle because of that lack of attention and that concentration issue. For the physical side of things, apart from the depression that you might experience or even anxiety, chronic stress releases hormones and neurotransmitters that can actually affect your heart health, can increase inflammation, and can make you more susceptible to infection. And so we'll see people have a higher risk of obesity, high blood pressure, and cardiac disease due to chronic sleep. And oftentimes, chronic sleep can be a symptom of a larger condition. So for people who work shift work, and they're on rotating shifts going from day shifts to night shifts to weekend shifts, etc., those people have a higher rate of these physical health symptoms that you see here on the screen. Any other questions, Amy?
That actually brings up a good point, because someone says, what tips can you give to shift workers? I find it hard to put myself on a sleep schedule because I work days and night shifts alternatively.
Okay, am I still muted?
No, you're good.
No, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, that is a good question. So in some jurisdictions, we'll see that unions and health professionals will lobby for an end to shift work where people can work only one consistent shift, either your days or your nights, but you're not going back and forth, because that's where the challenge is. It's when you have to switch your sleep schedules. So for the most part, try and keep as much of a routine as you can. And so if you have days off, still get up at the same time as if you were working. Try to avoid falling into that habit of, well, it's my day off, so I'm going to sleep in, and you switch your shifts, you switch your sleep schedule and your shifts for a couple of days, and then it's time to go back to work. So that doesn't help. So try and keep your same sleep schedule on your days off. If you're switching back and forth from day shift to night shift and it's creating a health issue for you, talk to your doctor about it. Your doctor can certainly support a request for a work accommodation to ask for specific shifts, and that way your employer can accommodate that based on a medical recommendation. That isn't always easy to do, but with the right support from your healthcare professionals, your employer needs to be able to take your health into account as well. Some people can manage that quite well. I don't think managing rotating shifts long term is a good idea. And for the most part, what I see in my profession is that usually by about 15, 20 years into a job like that, it's starting to take its toll on the employee, and they need to make changes. So absolutely set a routine, stick to the routine. If your shifts are oscillating, moving around too much, talk to your employer to see if you can stay on one kind of shift only. And if that's not possible, take a look at a work accommodation if your doctor supports it.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Another question I have here is, when you say inflammation, is that generalized inflammation in the body or a specific area of the body?
That's inflammation in general. And so what that means is, think about those neurotransmitters, those hormones, the chemicals that your body and brain make. When you sleep, your body and brain go through a different process. And so chemicals and neurotransmitters, hormones, they shift to be able to support your body. And if that shift doesn't happen because you're not sleeping properly, then your body doesn't get to restore itself, to get rid of toxins, and those toxins can build up and create stress on your body as well. And we see that stress in the form of inflammation or a higher rate of infection, right? So we know that among people who have chronically poor sleep schedules, chronically poor sleep every day, they have a higher risk of infection. So they're either getting a lot of sinus infections, hangnail infections, small cuts that just don't seem to heal properly, and they have more inflammation such as irritable bowel syndrome, inflammation around the heart, and in different ways. So it really does affect everyone differently, and it is based on your genetics, your health, your lifestyle.
Great, thank you. I just have one person here who I thought I had to share this. Says, can I just listen to your soothing voice, Kamara, to fall asleep? Question mark, exclamation mark.
Oh gosh. Well, I'll take that as a compliment unless I'm boring you. So, in my practice, I do actually work with my clients where they will record my voice going through a variety of relaxation exercises. They'll record that on their smartphone and use it to help them when they need it until they can do it themselves. And so that's why I suggest, as much as you may want to just listen to my voice, that's great. But there are so many um, audio and video recordings out there that you can look through. I mean, yes, it takes a lot of time to look through them and find the right one, but when you do find the right one, it's going to fit for you and you're going to have that to rely on whenever you need to. I have a video recording of the ocean at a visit I went to, and I just thought this is so perfect. So I recorded it, and it has that loud rushing sound of the tide coming in. And I mean, on the video, you can actually hear the click clack of the crabs on the jetty, the wind in the trees, and it's all there. So I can use that in session with my clients. I can use that for myself if I'm having a particularly difficult night. And so you find what works for you. And if it's my voice, then by all means, go ahead.
Excellent. Another question I have here is it ever too late to correct poor sleeping habits? If you've been having chronically poor sleep habits and are now older, can you still form those new habits?
It is never too late. You can always make changes in your life. Life is a continuum. We're never stuck in one spot for very long, right? You're always going to experience changes in your life. And so, in that way, you can make those changes yourself. If you say, I'm done. I'm done with this. I've slept this poorly for the last 30 years. I'm done. I'm going to try something new. Definitely try all of these things. There's a wealth of information online. You can read up. Everything that I've said to you is readily available at any regular health site. Take a look at that information. If you need help, if you find that you're struggling, talk to your doctor. If you're not a fan of medication and you want to try some holistic ways, connect with someone who can help you build sleep hygiene. You can either purchase that service online from different practitioners. You can see a counselor who can walk you through that. I myself, with my private clients, they will come in and we will work on this as our therapeutic task, where we work on improving your ability to calm and control yourself, regulate your emotions, regulate your body, and get yourself to rest appropriately. And that takes practice, and it takes support as well, right? If you think that you are sleeping with someone who doesn't sleep very well, for us who are partnered with someone, whether it's our children or our spouses or our animals, think about this. Put boundaries in place for your sleep time. Many people in marriages will have separate bedrooms so that they can sleep properly, because it's so important, right? And as much as you would love to spend the night with that favorite person or animal, it's just not helpful for you. So have separate sleeping arrangements. Put boundaries in place for that for sure. And if not, then you can try relaxation together and see if that can help as well. Any other questions?
I don't have any. We'll give you maybe a few minutes here to type something into that question box. Oh, got one. If it takes you well over an hour consistently to wake up in the morning, is it an indication that your sleep has been impacted?
Absolutely. What the impact is, that would be up to you and maybe your doctor to figure out. And so, it there are so many different things that could influence what you're describing there. And so I would say to you, take a look at what you're doing. Do you have any specific examples?
There's no specific examples here. So I think that's great. I think you answered that question. I
All
have
right.
one other one here.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on melatonin?
So melatonin is natural. Okay. Yes, it comes in a pill form that's been given to us. Just think about tea and the food that we eat that comes packaged for us. We can make melatonin, and we actually do make melatonin. And so there are things that you can do to increase your own melatonin. But if your body isn't able to make enough, you can try melatonin. It comes in a variety of strengths. Certainly talk to your doctor about it. Your doctor can give you guidance for what works for you. And there's no shame in that. And I know I have spoken to a lot of people about the use of melatonin, and there's a lot of shame about having to take something to go to sleep. Melatonin isn't habit forming like some prescription medication. It just helps get you to sleep. It doesn't help you stay asleep, right? And so try it if you want to. Start at a small dose and then increase. If you want, you can go and get a supersized pack of 5 milligram pills and cut them in half, or 1 milligram pills and cut them in half. Whatever your choice is, start small and see how it works for you. It's all about experimenting because everybody's body is different. So experiment, see how it works for you at whichever dose, and use it when you need it. There's no need to take it every single night. You may find that you're sleeping most nights, but if it's the day before you have a really serious conversation with someone, or you have a major deadline at work and you're just feeling really wired and you need some help, you can certainly rely on that. But above all else, if you are on other kinds of medications, you want to talk to your doctor or pharmacist to make sure that what you're taking that's over the counter isn't counteracting any prescription medication that you've been prescribed.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh, yeah. As soon as I say that, one pops up. Funny. What about Valerian Root?
Valerian root?
Valerian Root,
yeah.
Thank you.
So Valerian root, just like melatonin, a natural form of product that can help you with sleep. Again, exactly the same thing applies. So there's not just valerian root. There are a variety. And so I'm not going to list them all off because I don't want people going for one thing that I say. But start with a conversation with your healthcare professionals, right? They know your situation best. For many people who live with chronic disease, you're on medication, you have things that may counteract with other things that you can't take that might make the situation worse for you, and you don't know. So go to the professionals. The pharmacist has a very large book that will talk about each item and how it counteracts with other items, and your doctor has a wealth of information there. So valerian root, melatonin, so many other things. But think about the things that you can do for yourself. And that's what this session today was about, how you can calm yourself, because what melatonin does for you, what valerian root does for you, is it helps you calm yourself. And when you calm yourself, your body releases neurotransmitters that help you get into your sleep cycle, right? And so if you could do that on your own, great. That's where you need to work. If what you're doing isn't enough, get help to decide what's next for you. You can try the different supplements that are there as long as it's the right fit for you and you have your health professional's support with that. It's all trial and error. What works for your sister may not work for you. What works for your neighbor may not work for you. What works for your know-it-all parent may not work for you. And so it's just important to try what you need to try until you find the right fit. And just remember, as you go on with aging and move on with different things in your life situation will change. And so what you take to help you support sleep may need to change as well. What you do to help you support sleep may need to change depending on what's happening in your life.
Fantastic. What to do if I get to sleep just fine, but then I typically wake up about after 4 or 5 hours?
Right. That's a great question. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get you to this. And there. can't fall asleep. There, is that right? Can't fall asleep?
No,
What
she
do
fell
you see?
asleep, but then she wakes up
Right.
after 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. And so this slide that I have that says can't fall asleep, it's the same thing. If you've woken up and you can't get back to bed, get out of bed. Don't sit and watch the clock. Get out of bed because it doesn't make things worse. You're awake anyways. Go to a quiet spot outside your bedroom and do something boring, right? Boring activities. They're usually not stimulating. Remember that vacuum cleaner manual? Go read it. It'll get you ready for bed. You know, try the meditation, try the relaxation, try anything that you can do to help you get back to calm. So it could be that your body is ready to wake up, and maybe your body and brain are out of sync and not talking to each other very well. And so you need to help it get back into sync by doing all the things that we discussed today to help you calm down and connect with sleep.
Great. Another question I have here is, do you think women are more susceptible than men to sleep disorders due to hormonal changes?
Well, men and women have they experience hormonal changes, and perimenopause and full-on menopause absolutely will affect you. Absolutely, that there is no change about that. You know, there is research that says based on age that you're going to have sleep changes. So yeah, hormones will definitely make a difference with your sleep, whether it is estrogen, progesterone, or even testosterone. And so if you think that you're going through a hormonal change, the best person to talk to is your family doctor. Blood tests can show what your hormone levels are at, and you can have options that are naturopathic to be able to regulate your hormones, or you can try prescription medication. It's a discussion between you and your health professional.
Great. So that's all the questions that I have.
Wonderful. Thank you all for your questions. That was fantastic, and I'm so glad that you took the time to type in your questions, and I hope that there's something out of this session today that you can take with you and try. And if you need more information, you're always welcome to contact me here at the Wellness Institute. You can go online to find more information as well.
Fantastic. So I just want to end by saying thank you to Kamara. Thank you to everyone for joining in. Our apologies for the audio issues at the beginning. But I also want to thank the Wellness Institute as well as Healthy Together Now for being able to have this webinar happen. So I hope you can join us for the other remaining 3 webinars. They'll be happening in February, March, and April. And this webinar will be available on the Wellness Institute website, so wellnessinstitute.ca/webinar. And we will also provide the recording in your email that you'll get a couple days afterwards. Thanking you again for attending. So thanks again, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Bye.